In the last episode, we looked at 5 major reasons that made over 850,000 people leave the Jehovah's Witnesses faith between 2015 and 2025. The question is, what about the next 5? These were actually the most devastating reasons that made Jehovah's Witnesses to leave. These reasons, I tell you, they have actually hammered a blow to the Jehovah's Witness organization more than any other reasons. So stay tuned to know the other 5 reasons that made more Jehovah's Witnesses to leave the faith that we looked at in the previous episode. As I've mentioned in more of my videos, Jehovah's Witnesses have branded the organization as the truth, and that's one of the signs of being chaotic. So the next highest figure of Jehovah's Witnesses who left the faith is due to shunning and family separation. For many Jehovah's Witnesses, leaving the faith isn't just about leaving a religion. It is about leaving everything you know, everything you love, everything you hold dear. Parents are taught to cut off ties with their children. Children are taught to cut off ties with their parents.
Mom's disfellowshipping still feels so raw.
Elsa, please speak up. I miss you so much. I just want to hear your voice.
It's such a struggle. I miss her. She taught me the truth, gave me a stable life. She was my closest friend. What's the harm in just calling once in a while? To chat. Maybe I can even help her to come back to Jehovah.
His friends stop returning calls. When you go to school, if you are still in school, those friends stop talking to you. The emotional toll of this practice is actually devastating. Let's listen to this clip.
I came to talk to Jody, who has a similar story. He was disfellowshipped the day he finished high school after the organization discovered he had got a young woman pregnant.
In front of the whole congregation that people should avoid contact with me, and they gave the reason why, and everybody, like I said, turned around and looked. And
how did you feel in that moment?
Pretty small at that moment. Like, I knew these people my whole life, and within that second, they were never going to speak to me again, and they never did. None of them. The boys in the congregation that were close to my age that I had grown up with, I mean, that was the last time that I talked to them. That was it. Next day at school, or it was nothing. It was like I didn't even exist anymore.
Fact check. 70% of former Jehovah's Witnesses experience shunning, and 1 in 3 lose all family contacts. Source: Psychology of Religion 2024. One former witness said, "My mother handed me a letter telling me they could no longer speak to me." Just imagine your mother handing you a letter, making it official she could no longer speak to you. What sort of religion? What sort of God's organization? What sort of Jehovah would allow such a thing? And she said, I was dead to her. But what if shunning was just part of the bigger betrayal? The next reason that made 300,000 people to leave will even be more disturbing. Let's look at reason number 7. Hypocrisy and organization scandals. That led to 300,000 people to leave. Jehovah's Witnesses claim to be God's one true organization. In fact, they said it's a channel through which Jehovah speaks to people on earth. Who can make such a claim I've never heard any organization who have made such a bold claim. But between 2015 and 2025, more than 10,000 child sexual abuse scandals surfaced, and over $400 million was paid in settlements. Many left after learning the disturbing truth about what was happening behind closed doors. Members of Jehovah's Witnesses are constantly contributing to the organization. They are constantly contributing time. They are moving from door to door preaching. They are knocking on doors. They are distributing literature, or they are standing on their literature carts or literature stands. They go on and on. They actually invest the whole life in this organization, investing free labor to build kingdom halls, which are later flipped and sold for millions of dollars. And what happens to that money? Instead of contributing to Jehovah's work, the money goes to pay settlements of sexual abuse scandals. The victims are not protected. The victims are ostracized. Pedophiles are protected by the two-witness rule. Fact check. JW paid millions in legal settlements for child abuse cases. Source, Guardian 2023. Here's what one former JW said. We were told to give. But when the family was struggling, the congregation did nothing to help us. It is actually shocking. It is shocking for me to hear of stories of many Jehovah's Witnesses that needed help from the congregation and they were not helped. And yet on the outside, they look as united, as supportive, and very helpful to each other. Come, what is it? I'm good, thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm out of focus.
Yeah, you're on this.
Hey.
That's my daughter interrupting my recording. Okay, now you can go.
I'll join you next time. Maybe I should come and do an episode with you.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you're doing recordings in the home. I should build a studio somewhere else. If you are enjoying this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notice bell so that every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. One ardent follower of my channel told me to do a video about why Jehovah's Witnesses don't help their members when they are going through problems. I know you Jehovah's Witnesses will scream at me and say, no, we are helpful. I'm just talking about the facts that I've received and the testimonies that I've heard. If you think that's shocking, imagine... that's why the testimonies of XJW, most of them say when I woke up. So meaning that all JW members are actually asleep because you cannot do things that JWs are meant to do in your normal senses. You have to be hypnotized not to see that something is not right here. That's why they say when I woke up. So if you think that figure I've mentioned is shocking, imagine believing something your entire life only to be told it wasn't true. That's what happened to the next 500,000 people who left the Jehovah's Witnesses faith. And this happened when the Watchtower kept changing the doctrines in the name of New Light. Jehovah's Witnesses claim to have the truth, but if that's true, why does the truth keep changing? Over the years, the Watchtower has altered key doctrines, including the Armageddon timeline, the definition of this generation, and even blood transfusion rules. Imagine Jehovah's Witnesses have died over this blood transfusion rule, only to be changed later, meaning that those people died in vain over a ridiculous rule, over a misinterpreted scripture in Acts chapter 15. And as these changes were taking place, many members started asking, if this is really Jehovah, why do the doctrines keep on changing? And many people have actually commented on my videos about this very reason. Jehovah is immutable. Jehovah does not lie. The Bible tells us in Numbers that God is not man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should repent or change his mind. And yet, the governing body keeps on receiving clarified understanding. New Light coming up every now and then. The new light they've received so far can light up New York. So if it was really from God, why does it keep on being rewritten? The Watchtower has changed core doctrines multiple times, including shifting interpretations of when Armageddon would happen. Fact check. The Watchtower has changed core doctrines multiple times, including shifting interpretation when Armageddon would happen. Source, Religious Studies Journal, 2021. And it stated, 42% of former JWs cited doctrinal inconsistencies as a reason for leaving. One former JW said, I grew up believing Armageddon would come in my lifetime. Then they changed it. What else were they wrong about? Very important question. One ex-JW, who is a survivor of sexual abuse, was asked what it was like as a child growing in a Jehovah's Witness, and this is what she said.
As a child, every night that you went to bed, you believed this may be your last night. You may not wake up.
Of course, it was always constantly that Armageddon could be coming at any minute.
What does Armageddon look like in the world of the Jehovah's Witnesses?
In my head, it was giant fireballs coming out of the sky and people screaming and dying in front of me.
A fiery death wasn't the only thing that scared Tricia. In fact, in a way, her own world had already ended. Since she was a child, she says, she had been abused by someone she should have been able to trust the most.
Can you talk to me about the kind of abuse that you suffered?
Sexual abuse from my father. The abuse started as soon as I was born until I was approximately 14 years old.
If you are enjoying this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notice bell so that every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. There is much more. For some, doctrinal changes were not their biggest betrayal. The next reason made 700,000 people to leave overnight. In the last decade, the internet and the power of information. For decades, Jehovah's Witnesses controlled the flow of information. Members were warned never to research outside Watchtower publications. But then, the internet happened. Ex-JWs shared their stories, court records were exposed, and members started waking up. Let's look at a fact check. 65% of former Jehovah's Witnesses cited online research as a key factor in leaving their faith. Source, Exit Until 2022. One former JW said, one video, one article, one leaked document, that's all it took to wake up. The next question is, what happens when people begin to question everything? When they go beyond just scandals and doctrines and realize that Jehovah's Witnesses weren't telling the truth at all. That realization caused the reason for the highest number of people to leave. Let's look at reason number 10. The Jehovah's Witnesses' faith no longer seemed like the truth. All these reasons, shunning, failed prophecies, financial scandals, and changing doctrines, led to one inescapable conclusion for nearly 850,000 Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses were no longer the truth. All these reasons, shunning, failed prophecies, child sexual abuse scandals, financial scandals, and changing doctrines, led to one inescapable conclusion for nearly 850,000 people. Jehovah's Witnesses were no longer telling the truth. And once a Jehovah's Witness realizes that, there is no turning back. Fact check. Many ex-JWs cite the realization that their beliefs were not unique or divinely guided as a final decision for living. So what is happening here is that all these reasons, they compound. As Blue was saying, he said it's like, he was talking of another JW who left, and he said it's like something hitting the windshield. A bit, there's a small crack, and as you keep on hitting on it, suddenly the whole windshield shatters.
So what is that process of waking up? What was that trigger, or was it like a slow bleed, death by 1,000 cuts, or like a lightning bolt?
Yeah, so the waking up process, it's different for every person, but I think there's one commonality that every single witness that ends up waking up to the religion shares, and it's that over time there are these things that occur. These little doubts you get through the period of your being a Jehovah's Witness that you try to suppress, don't think about, you box up, you put it away, you don't really think about it. There was actually another ex-JW YouTuber that phrased it in such a way that it's almost like a crack in the windshield. You keep driving, you get a little crack in the windshield. You might be able to ignore it, keep on driving. You get another crack in the windshield. Eventually, over time, you start getting a lot of cracks in the windshield, and you can't ignore them anymore. There's several instances through my journey of being a witness where there were things that didn't sit well with me, or made me think, made me ponder.
And this is what has happened because all these reasons, all these doubts, all this little nagging behind somebody's mind, they accumulate and create a bigger problem, a bigger impact that leads to shattering of the windscreen. And that makes the sleeping Jehovah's Witnesses to wake up. It turns into a nightmare that makes Jehovah's Witnesses to wake up. And I'm inviting any ex-JW who would like to share his testimony to actually use my email address on about the channel to contact me so that we can arrange to share your testimony. It's important to speak out, to shake people, to wake them up from the sleep. So if you're interested in sharing your story on Tell Me Dr. K, kindly do so using the email address on about the channel, and I'll be more than delighted to contact you so that we can make an arrangement to discuss your testimony. So 850,000 people left because they stopped believing that JW was the truth. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notice bell so that every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. If you have any comments, you want to make a contribution to this video, or you want to challenge some of the facts, please do that in the comment section below. As I've mentioned, if you think some people will benefit from this video, please don't forget to share with them. You can share with as many people as you want and as you can. I'm sure if you are like me, you are wondering, how did Dr. K come up with these figures? In episode 3, I uncover how I came up with these figures. To watch episode 3, click on this link. To watch part 1 of these episodes of this series, click on this link.